All right, so welcome back everyone to the Python workshop series. This week we'll be going over loops, further way to add some dynamics to our programming. So last week we saw how we can further change the direction of our programs with conditional statements. You can either branch out into one or two statements or directions. Another feature is repetition. Obviously, you might want something to repeat. Like if you want some multiplication statements or some sort of math, you want to do it over and over. Programming languages and Python feature structures which allow you to loop through certain pieces of code, and you can even mix and match and add conditional statements inside or outside of them. So there's two main ones that every programming language features: the for loop and the while loop. We'll get to those and see what the differences are. But essentially, they both work the same. They'll loop through a piece of code until a certain condition is met, which will make it exit out of the loop. So just again to recap what we've been going over. So the one on the left is just basic sequential code, which is top to bottom. Last week we saw conditional, and now this week we'll be looking at looping. So you see in conditional that parallelogram, that's like the conditional. For looping, it's still there because it has to check a condition to see whether or not it's going to continue looping. So then for loops. For loops in Python, in my opinion, are a bit more, I guess, hidden in their implementation. They don't really, they're not very explicit in how they're going to function. But generally, you have some variables. So I'm going to go to the board. You'll have some variables. So the keyword is for. And then you'll have some variable that the variable you put in here doesn't matter. You can name whatever you want. In the example, I put I, but it can be X. And then another keyword in. And then for here in Python, it looks for a range. So I know like in C++ or in Java, you usually have to put some sort of limit right there and then to make it explicit. But yeah, in Python, for the most part, you can use the range function. So what the range function does is that it's going to give you, I guess, kind of a list of numbers, which we'll go over next week. The data structure of lists. I believe it can take in either one parameter or two. So in this example, there's two. So what it will do is that it'll start from 0 and it'll give you a range of integers from 0, but not including 5. So it'll go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So just keep that in mind. And if you just put one parameter, just 5, it'll do the same thing. So if you by default want to start with 0, either or is good. But let's say, like in today's assignment, you want to start with 1, you can explicitly say that you want to go from 1 to 5. So all these can be used in the range for a for loop. And once you define that, you're going to use the same colon as if you were to do if conditional statement. Colon, and implementation, and then everything inside of here, wherever statements you have, it's going to run. And then once this condition is met, so it's going to run, for this example, 5 times, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Once it hits that fifth run, it's going to exit and go on to that next node after the implementation of the for loop. So a for loop, I guess it's more or less, you can define it by the number of times you want to run. An integer amount of times. And that difference will stand out more once we look at while loops. But yeah, for the most part, that's how for loop function will work in Python. Chat. Okay. Right. And see for lists, right? So in Python, I think for loops were specifically made to work better with lists. Hence to hold some variable inside of some range, because in Python it makes it more easier to go through a list. So list is something we'll go over next week, but in short, it's like an item full of certain data type. So an example in the slides, my list is 0246. It's a list of images. So you can have however many integers you want in there. It'll hold in that single label type. So you can use a for loop. Same thing that you use the range. So enter some variable, and then just put the name of the list you want to iterate through. And then print out just the variable I, because what I is going to be like, you can imagine it's pointing inside each element in the list. And it'll start from the beginning up until the end. It's similar to a for each loop. So in Java and C++, there's a special type of for loop called for each, and those are usually used to iterate through an array or vector or some sort of data structure. Completely optional. You can do that with a regular for loop also in those languages. But in Python, my guess is that they kind of had that in mind when they were for loop. But the whole range, the 4x in range is more of a general type of for loop. All right, so now we have while loops. So while loops are pretty much the same function as a for loop, except it's not as explicit in the number of times you want it to run. So what a while loop does is that, and of course use keyword while, you want to put some condition in here. And the while loop will run as long as that condition is true. So the condition can be, like word conditions like we did like last week, x can be less than 5, or some sort of combination with this Boolean operators like and or. And as long as it's true, it's going to keep running. So right away, you can probably see that nothing in it, like in the for loop, it's going to change by itself, like from 0 to 5. We'll keep counting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. With the while loop, there's nothing really inside the actual structure that will change it. So make sure when you write a while loop, somewhere in the body, once after you do our statements, that there has to be some line that's going to update whatever condition is being entered. So for example, that slide x is less than 10, you can write whatever statements you want, but you should make sure that the last statement is something that's going to happen to x to update it. Because if not, x will always be 10, and it's going to be running over and over, and it's going to cause it infinitely. And your compiler will never exit out of it, and it probably won't tell you. Or maybe it might if it's enough RAM, but that might take a while. So just make sure to always include some sort of update, whether it be a counter or a boolean, just to change it to true to false. Touch on for that. And just like we saw with conditional statements, we can nest for loops as well, or just loops. They don't have to be the same type. You can put a while in a for or a for in a while, and you can nest them however many times you want. Right, and some function, I guess one of the applications is 2D arrays. So, or 2D lists in Python. So one list, you just have a certain amount of numbers. So you have just 1, 2, 3. A 2D list will probably have this same structure, but it will have a list within a list. So if you imagine, if you want to print this list out, it would kind of have like an X and a Y. So it would print out 0, 1, and then 2. So you would have to use a method loop to work with that, and you can do a lot of things with that. I know there's one thing to sign, that's why I added especially the syntax, but we'll see in the time later. Right. So then loops also have keywords. Let's see. There's continue, which will just continue the loop. I've never found really practical use for continue. I think break is more useful, especially since Python doesn't have a do well, which I think right, break. So in other programming languages, there's a special kind of while loop called the do while, which basically it'll do whatever you want first, and then it'll check the condition. So it's good if you want to, let's say you want to ask a user, or let's say you want to make a rock paper scissors game. You ask the user for input, and you keep playing the game, and then whoever wins, the computer or you, you can ask the statement saying, you want to continue, and then this while will check, you want to continue, and it'll keep it. But Python doesn't have this, doesn't have a do while instruction. So what you can do is you can use that break keyword and just write the Boolean div to true, which will make a difference. Just be careful. And somewhere in the body, just have an if statement that will check whether or not going to exit this loop, and then just break. Just write the keyword break. So that once it's met, it'll exit the while loop, so it'll do everything you want to do, and then check condition and break out. There might be something on the side that which might use that. I believe that's it. Yeah, pretty short, just 2 looping structures. Any questions? We go over more or less. No. Alrighty. I guess then we'll just get straight to the assignment. All right, the assignment should be up on Discord, same place and same way it's been uploaded. And let me upload the slides as well. No, Evelyn, you don't have to put your name. I get the chat log once the meeting's over, but you do have to stay for the most part.